Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us for this special live session. I'm Itzik Amiel, and we are here with a weekly switch series, Switch On, where we share ideas, insights, and inspiration, helping you as a professional to switch relationship to revenue, referrals, and reputation, and definitely stand out. And you're invited. So if you're watching now, I am live, and I'm very welcome you all to join us. If you're joining us, please feel free to type in the chat box and let us know who you are, where you're dialing from. So I want to know, everybody in the room wants to know that you are with us. Because today we're going to talk about something that I think a lot of you find interesting, the comments that I got before, and what we call client loss prevention. And that's the title of today, or especially about what can you do to prevent losing clients. Again, feel free to put in chat box who you are, where you're dining from, so I'll know who you are and everybody else. And of course, if you have anything else, any comments, you're very welcome to put it also in the chat. Because there is nothing more annoying and frustrating to a professional than a prospect of losing a major contract or a major client. Correct? Because of course, most business relationship, as we all know, will end at some time, and we get really used to the security of the bigger client, and of course the thought of them leaving evokes all kind of, if you may say, fears. I hope I'm correct, and I hope you understand what I'm talking about. And over the years, like each one of you, I've certainly won and lost my share of clients, but most of us tend to know when things are rocky, and we get a few clues that tell us a client is about or maybe thinking about moving on. So if you get these, what should you be doing? Did you ask yourself? And I want to answer this question specifically in this episode. To actually, I have 9 recommendations that I've used myself to gather them through the years when I help thousands of other professionals and for myself in my own practice to help manage the potential loss of a big client. And I want to share them with you today. So I'll suggest listen carefully, write down notes to yourself, since I really want you to grab any of these and even all of those recommendations and implement them directly, immediately in your business, in your practice to see that they work. Because I know they work, and and you should use them, and you'll thank me afterwards, okay? But just use them, implement them. That's the most important thing from that session. But before I go deeper to explain, again, I want to say hello to those who join me: Rajesh, Diane, David, Alex, Sarah, Mark, Bov, Kabarnitsa, if I can write correct name, Gabriela, Gross, Alex, Gabi, Gromi. All of you, thank you very, very much for joining. I mean, please type your name in the chat so I can see who you are. But again, I appreciate you taking the time, especially at the end of the year when you will and learn more. We're speaking about how to prevent losing clients. That's the title of today. And I'm glad to have you all here. If you have anything else, or please, if you just want to type your name and where you're dialing from in the chat, will help all of us. So let's start with my first recommendation of today. And the first recommendation of today, I titled it Deal with Facts. What do I mean by I say deal with facts when we're talking about preventing losing clients? So we need to stick with the facts here. Please don't let your imagination run wild. I know that I did it before by myself, because you might be picking up on weird signs, vibes that are there that have nothing to do with you. So before your mind goes off in 100 different directions, stop, take a moment, and deal with the facts. What has changed? What are you basing your feeling on? Make a list of what it could mean for you if they did leave, if this client leave, both good and bad, etc. Then you're dealing with facts. But remember, you need to still and deal with the facts, not the imagination. Okay? So that's my first recommendation, because mistake a lot of us doing, have all kind of imagination of stuff that never happened, and based on that, judging or doing our actions. The second recommendation of today is number 2, is learn and dare to communicate. Learn and dare to communicate. What do I mean by that recommendation? I'm talking to and mentoring, many professionals around the world. Those those who part of you are my clients. I realized that many of them are hesitate in having hard conversation with bigger clients. And maybe you're one of them. Maybe because they are afraid to lose them. Naturally, of course. But the truth is you really shouldn't. Talking about money, the future of a contract, or maybe a piece of work, or issues with a project, etc., etc., these are all very normal things to talk about. And we should be completely comfortable having these discussions. Now, in the time to talk to your client is now, of course, and check in to see if everything is okay with them. Ask about the future. See if there is anything they need you to do above and beyond the contracted work you're doing. Because if there are problems from your end, hopefully you caught things in time to really rebuild these relationships. And I want you to show willingness to lift your game if that is required by your clients. Or if they're moving on for reasons that have nothing to do with you, talk with them through how this will be handled, time frames, budget, and all kind of operational issues. So make sure you open the communication channels with your clients, even if they want to leave you, on a regular basis, and that you will handle their concern and complaints in time, because otherwise you'll be too late. Got it? So very interesting. So learn to dare to communicate, because if you're not dare to communicate, you're not communicate enough, you may learn about it too late. Thank you for those who are joining me right now. We're speaking about how to prevent losing clients. Yes, I am live for those who are asking here. Thank you for the question. Thank you, Sujaya, for joining us. Jafar, thanks for putting your name in the chat. A lot of people are afraid of doing that even. But just put your name that you are with me in the room, that you're joining me. We're talking about, as I said, how to prevent losing clients, and more specifically about what are my recommendations. I said I want to share with you 9 of them. And my next recommendation, not to lose client, to prevent losing client, number 3, it's invest in your own stuff. Invest in your stuff. Let me explain. You see, loyal employees are more likely to generate loyal clients. Why are you asking? Because if they are genuine love for your practice, they will shine through in their interaction with clients, of course. They will be engaged. And dedicated employees are passionate advocates for your own brand, for your firm brand, and are more likely to go the extra mile to impress the client, the partners. Cultivate happiness, pride, and passion within your practice as a leader of your own practice, and it will naturally start to flow outwards. After all, if your values and missions don't resonate with your own firm, how do you expect client to believe in you? You see, so it starts by your own employees, because unhappy employees and high turnover rates can directly harm your client retention. I hope you understand that. And that's why I want you to do more about investing in your own stuff. Next, you're asking. Next, number 4, next recommendation to prevent losing client, number 4 is don't get personal. This is probably more a recommendation I used to tell myself, but don't get personal. Let me explain. If they are planning on leaving you, the clients, at least now you know, correct? This gives you an opportunity to do something about it and try to secure the work. Often the reason they are ending your relationship is nothing to do with you or your services or your product. It do maybe to some internal issues they have. And we all know business relationships stop and start all the time. So the worst thing you could do is take it personally. I know we all make this mistake. I did too, as I admit to you. But be the professional right the way, though. And even if the relationship ends, sometimes it doesn't mean it's finished. You probably heard me saying many times, lost clients are not lost relationships. That doesn't mean it's finished. It's just the business relationship ends. The new professional service provider, in some cases, might be terrible and they want to come back to you. You see, I had this happen to me in any occasion, but it won't happen if you end the relationship badly. Okay, so get it. Don't get it personal. It's all about business relationship, and then of course you can fix it and bring it back. Number 5, next recommendation. If you have question, by the way, you can also very welcome to put it in the chat, and I answer it through my session with you. So don't be embarrassed. If you have anything, any clarification, or you want to know more about any of the recommendation, just put it in the chat in the questions. So number 5, I said, right? Number 5 is my recommendation to you is get busy chasing new business. Of course, we should always be in business development mode, I mean. But sometimes it's easy to get a little lazy and slack when times are good. And it happened to a lot of us. If you're facing losing one of your clients, you will need to replace that work. And now is the time to be looking for new clients. Even if you manage to keep the old clients, I'm sure the new work that comes as a result of being in business development mode will only be a good thing for your practice, right? So that's why if you get busy chasing the client, you always have the funnel of new clients coming in always full. So even if a client leaves you, it will not harm you so much for your own business. Recommendation number 6, my friend, pick the brains. What do I mean by pick the brains, you're asking? So Bill Gates said once, and let me quote the quote, "You most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning." That's what Bill Gates said once. So here's a simple recommendation. Just ask them. If you ask the client, customers are your greatest source, ask them. Let me explain a bit. Because real feedback from clients is one of the most valuable things you can attain. If you don't have channels or tools for gauging their opinion, the feedback, it's time to create some. So that's straightforward recommendation to you. But I know some of you wondering, what client get annoyed at being pushed to give feedback? So usually the answer is no. Most people actually enjoy being listened to. My best-selling book called Attention Suite. If you give people sincere attention, people love to be listened to, whether they are good things to say or not. If you make the process as easy as possible, you'll usually receive plenty of honest feedback from your clients. We used to do, by the way, in the bank I used to work, we used to invite every single month a client that likes the bank so much, and we put all the heads of all the department around these clients and ask the client to give us a short presentation, what doesn't work for them, what they don't like. This client loves us, remember, but what doesn't work? And then we could improve. And then we went back to work and corrected it. When the client came and nothing as a complaint, we never invite him anymore. But that's how you learn. You get this feedback. And there are several ways to achieve this without causing inconvenience to your clients, or by using the digital tools all exist for your disposal to make the process as quick and as effortless as possible. See, by gathering feedback, not only can you review your services, you can also generate a list of your client pain points. What needs your client have that aren't being met? See, often there are opportunities to make your service even more useful to your client if you get their feedback. See, by continuing discovering and addressing these needs, you build a loyal client base much more quickly. And if you do receive negative comments, this gives you the chance to rectify wrongs. Reach out immediately and really take measures to turn every bad experience into an amazing one. It's your chance to shine. You'll see retention rates improving drastically. And I know I did it with so many other professionals. And this is exactly as simple as it sounds. But when you take the action, you see the improving rates, and maybe you lose much less client. So that's what's number 6, pick up the brain. Thank you very much for those of you joining right now. We're still live on LinkedIn, and I'm talking about how to prevent losing clients. And we already gave 6 recommendations. I promise everybody is here and stay with me. There are 9 in total that I want to share today. We're speaking about how to prevent losing client. And if you're ready to proceed, I'm ready to share number 7. And number 7 is simple one. Learn, learn, learn. What do I mean by that? Right? So when I say learn and learn, assuming the client is moving on, you have to be smart enough to learn from this experience. What could have been done better? Where did things go wrong? What were the signs that you didn't do anything about? How would you handle things differently next time? See, so many things you could learn from it. Even if it has nothing to do with you, there's always lesson to be learned and correct the actions in order not to lose them the next time. And there's another tip: keep a special file where you log in all the lesson learned so you could or you can always review them and also share them with other people in your practice, in your firm, to prevent them to repeat the same mistakes. Simple, right? How many of you have this file? So do that. Create this file, capture all those things so lesson really could be learned in the firm. But you're probably asking, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? That's why I have tip number 8. A tip number 8 I added many years ago, and I called always have a plan B. Always have a plan B. And when we talk about plan B, I remember one of the professionals that I helped, lost a major client of years back and really rattled her business, practice, and put her into really terrible period. Not only did she lose significant revenue, I remember quite suddenly she started feeling depressed and did not anymore mood to go back to her practice. Sound familiar to some of you? Maybe it did. That's where I stepped in. I really helped her implement Plan B, that she can really implement anytime she suspects there is an issue with the client. Then Plan B come to place. It covered the exact business development activity she need to undertake, as well as the internal action she will take in the event that she's about to lose a particular client. So there will never be surprise, always Plan B in place to replace. And there's something that reassuring about having a Plan B for each and every major client in your practice. Do you agree? So that's a very simple thing. But if you don't have Plan B, of course, fears comes in. But when you have Plan B, then you're ready that even if they leave you, you know what to do and how to capture it. And that brings me to my last recommendation, number 9. And number 9 is prevention, is far better than cure. Prevention is far better than cure. The best way to avoid losing client in your practice is, with no doubt, to exceed their expectation. And I'm talking about it a lot: client experience, client relationship, because check it often, but not in a needy way. Ensure that they are happy with what you are doing. Become a valid and trusted advisor with a reputation for professionalism, authenticity, and delivering top services. And your relationship will be incredibly strong. It's simple, but it's not easy to a lot of you. Be open and honest and always act with the highest level of integrity. So that brings me to my conclusion. My conclusion is that none of us like to lose a client, but we all will. But how you handle these say a lot about the type of the practice you run. Again, how you deal with it will show a lot about the practice you run. So don't be in denial about it. Be proactive. Be upfront. Be prepared. I have no doubt that if you follow my recommendation, sharing this episode, and as I work and help many firms and firm leaders achieving my training and mentoring with them, in many instances, you will be able to turn the situation around and really go on to have really many years working with this client instead of losing them. So it's more than just after they left, before, if you prevent that, they'll stay with you and you work with them for years to come. You need to accept, at least out of my experience, in some cases, it won't end up so well. But you should do all the time, at all time, maintain your professionalism to the end, even if your client didn't, and that will help you build a very positive reputation, which of course helps to attract many more clients in the long run to your practice. To summarize this great session, let me share a powerful quote I heard many years ago. And I don't know who is the person who invented that quote or wrote that quote, but I love it. The moment when you are sure you cannot lose what you own, it's exactly the moment when you start losing it. And that's very smart code, so pay attention to it. So now, my friend, it's time to take action and implement everything you learned in this session. I didn't get any question from you. I know you're listening, but no question came in, so I guess you don't have any question. But I trust you got some interesting insights on how to prevent losing clients. If you need our help in implementing it in your practice, or if you just want to learn how to build winning client relationship for lifetime, this is exactly what we do for our clients. So professionals like you and me around the world, we train them, we mentor them, and we even doing the work for them, the done for you services, by implementing the strategies in the practice. So if you don't have time, come over, I'll help you implement it for you. Send an email or send me a private message to me to see how can we help. Next week, we have another amazing top expert to discuss a new practical strategy. As you know, every time it's a new strategy, new things to share with you to grow your practice, of course, and build better relationship, reputation, and referrals. So if you want to make sure you never miss one of our weekly Switch On interview series, follow me on LinkedIn or go to the Switch Hub website. You can sign up, get my business development strategies and tips, maybe my new online course coming out about networking with results, or networking at conferences, what we call Conference Networking Compass, or personal branding. Check and register to one of my online live workshop. And as you're very welcome to send me again private message or email to ask any question you have, and see how can I be of value to you and your practice. For now, I want to thank each one of you for joining us. I see it's still on. Thank you very, very much for that, for being here almost at the end of the year and dedicated time. I want to see everybody next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central European Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. And remember, switch on and prevent losing your client before it will be too late. Bye for now, everybody. Thanks for watching.